for being with us, taking on Jim's job. And it is now 1:36, and I will call the oh my goodness, April 16th meeting of the Akron City Tree Commission to order. And I would entertain a motion that I be allowed to be present for the meeting, even though my video does not seem to be working.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that a second, Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do a roll call. Viviano, aye. Fusco,
Aye.
Lash,
Aye.
Bradenberg,
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
The motion passes 5-0.
Okay. Approval of the minutes. Anybody see anything in last month's minutes that need correction or clarification? Okay.
Motion approved.
Second, I'll second that.
Viviano, aye. Fusco,
Aye.
Lash,
Aye.
Bradenberg,
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
The motion to approve the minutes passes 5-0.
Okay. Unfinished business. We've got a fair amount on our agenda. John, is your video not working, John? Hilkert?
I'm out in the field. I wasn't able to make it back in, so that's
Okay.
that's why.
Okay. Well, we don't need you for a vote anyway, but I'm glad you're here. We're going to start giving our public education strategy some legs. One thing I did learn today is that we basically don't have access to social media. If we have something that we want to go that route, we need to contact, there's a couple people in the communications office who can work with us on that. And if we have public service announcements, Sarah, are you the one who sends out council PSAs?
No,
No, who does that?
that would be Dr. Joan Williams, Council's Chief of Staff.
Okay. So if we have public service announcements, and we'll get into what some of those might be later, I'll work with you and we'll figure out a way to get the process streamlined. I had a meeting with John Malish and John Hilkert regarding some of the facts that I think need to be offered in our brochure as opposed to what we've got, at least substituting some of them out. And those were here we go. We have a percent of canopy, what it would take to get up to 40%, which is our goal. How how many gallons of storm water an individual tree can soak up, and how that changes over time. And the percentage of public land other than tree lawns is available for tree planting in an effort to get our tree canopy up. So that was the kind of thing that John and I met on. John Hilkert, do you know if we're any closer to those?
No, we haven't had an opportunity. We've been running around like crazy, so we haven't had an opportunity to talk about that anymore.
Okay.
And I know John's busy this afternoon. I think he's got an interview or something going on. So.
Okay. Well, we will still work on that. But then Jeff and I had a meeting and we talked about some of the things. one of the things we're talked about is speaking with council, and any of members of the tree commission who want to attend, we have an appointment April 29th with the Public Service Committee of City Council, which is 2:00 in council chambers. And we can either be in person or via Zoom. Personally, I think I'm going to be there because I think it's going to be the first time I'm meeting some of these people. And I think they ought to at least once have a face, especially if my camera doesn't work. If any of the others of you can join me in that, it's just a general get to know you session. And we share with council people some of the things that we are trying to do and enlist their help. One of those things would be the Tree of the Month Club, and how we roll that out. What we would need is like either an application or a nomination process, and how we make that available. One of the things that John and I talked about is there is material, iPads, jackets, and classes that volunteers can take to be basically, I believe, tree inventory people. Is that right, John?
Yeah, I think they do have some training like that. For the inventory that we would be collecting, I mean, it's probably maybe I'd have to run it by John, but it's probably something we could probably even do in-house if you're talking
Okay.
about just trying to train volunteers.
Yeah, I think that's what we talked about. And is there an upper limit of the number of people we can have? Because I think it might be great to have one person per ward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, again, without running it through him, because he's done stuff like that before with college interns.
Right.
He's kind of, trained them and shown them, how to do that. I mean, that's something that he could do and I could actually do too. But yeah, and something like that might be easier if it's done in groups of two. That's just my opinion. We've been doing recently, I've got a guy that's on light duty. So he's been going out with me and we've been measuring trees and updating that. Just so we could get trees to trim over to our contractor. So, I mean, and that's fairly easy. It would just be a matter of getting, depending on how John wants to do it, could be a matter of getting permissions within our system that we have to make those updates. Otherwise, an option would be, and this may be what he winds up doing, if we just print out maps of the areas that we need trees measured, then what they can do is they can go and just measure it. We can give them everything that they need and they can measure it and then just write it on there, and then we can update it in the office.
Okay.
Depending on how he wants to do it.
Okay. So we need to get that information from John. But I got the impression that that's a fairly doable thing that we can announce and start work on, so that we're actually doing something rather than talking about doing something. Okay. I will find out, and maybe Casey, you can help with this. If we want to do Tree of the Month Club, how would we go about getting actually getting the news out, but then having like a nomination form online that people could fill out. You're muted. Casey, you're muted. Okay, well, we seem to, okay. Our computers don't want us to communicate with each other. Because I do believe we already have forms to nominate heritage tree corridor and memorial trees. Francie, do you know anything about that?
I can't say that I do.
Okay. Well, we'll find out about that.
Casey, your microphone says it's muted.
Now you're unmuted, but we still can't hear you.
This is nuts.
Sometimes I have to click that arrow next to the microphone and change my microphone. Sometimes it tries to pick up from
Okay.
a Bluetooth or something, so maybe it's
Maybe we could use the chat function.
we can't do that because it is an open meeting, so it needs to be.
Okay.
Casey, I can try to call your extension from my phone and see if they can hear you that way. Do you want to try that?
I guess while we're waiting to work on that, if I could, Madam President, I would just offer that perhaps we could utilize the legislative spotlight to get the message out about nominating trees. Also, a second step would be a legislative spotlight is a city council. We have an email list that we weekly send out messages about council. Secondly, what I could do is look up and see how they handle it in North Myrtle Beach area, where they do have this program existing, and see how that's handled and forward that to everybody so that they could see it. And then third, I guess we could ask, and I could send it over to Mr. Lash, but if there's a possibility that our sign people could put signs together or something, or would it be more effective and quicker, easier to pay someone to develop signs that would recognize when a tree is whenever we have a desire to recognize a homeowner and their tree or whatever. So I can forward a picture of that to Mr. Lash and see if our sign folks could do something, or if it would just be just as effective for us to do it ourselves.
Okay.
So,
Madam Chair, I guess I would ask the councilman what type of signs that would you be looking for? Because that would depend on if our sign team could actually produce that for you.
yeah, it's like I said, I'll send it over to you so you can take a look and see what they look like.
Sure.
it wouldn't be any more complicated than the ones that they use now to announce, no parking, we're collecting trees.
Yeah, it's the ones I've seen in the past are like the metal ones. They just have a metal stake and you attach them. But I'll send it to you and we could perhaps next month or so. But well before then, I'll send it out to everybody, everything that I gather. I'll send it out via email.
Okay.
Casey, did you have something? Do you want to try through the phone? Chris can let us know if you can hear her doing it this way.
Can you hear me through through the Zoom now?
Yep.
You can. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm gonna hang up, Sarah. Thank you. Sorry about that. Terrible example for the millennials.
Well, maybe I have to get a new computer. It's not like this one is not ancient. Anyway, so, okay. Okay. And I apologize for us updating our mission statement yet again. Because, I'm basically the one who's written all of our versions, and I don't know how the one we're using now got past my editor, because it's way too many words and way too complicated. So I believe I sent you the updated mission statement. And I need to get onto my email. Oh, here we go. Thank you. Thank you. To me, this is a little bit more elegant, easy to understand, shorter, and makes the point. I'm more than happy to have input. But like I said, the other one just didn't work for me. And if it didn't work for me, I don't think it works for anybody. Although maybe I'm just being too critical. Anyway, any reaction, any thoughts?
I like it personally. I do agree that's more to the point, easier, and I would welcome any conversation. If there isn't any, I'll make a recommendation, but I'd like to hear if there's any input from anyone first.
Yeah, Casey, and I realized that you're not on my tree commission email list, so I will make that correction. Sarah, do you have the other?
Our previous one?
Yeah, the one that's on our brochure. That, thank God, hasn't gone out yet.
Well, the one that was on the brochure was not the one that was adopted in 2022. The one that was adopted in 2022, I do have that one.
Okay. Yeah. That still uses a whole lot more words to essentially say the same thing. My thought.
Yeah, Sarah, my perspective is what the new one that you shared first, that it's an improvement over this one, clarity wise.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what I was thinking with that one. But anyway, I would entertain a motion to revise our mission statement to the one presented today.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Okay.
I'll do a roll call. Viviano, aye. Fusco,
Aye.
Lash.
Aye.
Bradenberg,
Aye.
Wyatt. The motion to adopt the new mission statement passes 5-0.
Okay. Now, the issue of the brochure is sort of contingent on the information I get from John and John in terms of some of the updated facts. And where they would go is the part of the brochure that has, several basically unrelated to Akron tree effects. I mean, they're still good and some of them may stay. But I think it's important that we get information out to people that they can relate to, that means something to them. So that will still be, it'll continue on our unfinished business. And I talked about the meeting with City Council, or the Public Service Committee anyway. And Tree City USA, which is next week. I know I've signed up. Has anybody else from the commission? No?
I think I have. I'm checking my calendar. Yes, I did. I signed up too.
Okay. Okay. John Hilkert, when is the deadline?
Deadline passed. I believe it was I want to say it was last Tuesday,
Okay.
a week ago today, or
Okay.
week previous today.
Okay. Well, then it will be those of us who signed up, and we will give you a full accounting next meeting. And actually, I have handled the volunteers for the tree inventory in our unfinished business and public education strategy. So is there any other business to be brought before the meeting?
I have a question.
Yeah.
For April the 29th,
Mm-hmm.
I'll come to that. That's at City Council.
Yes.
Okay, I got it on my calendar.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
Also, Jeff, I put a call into you, and I know you called me back, but my question was, I'm sorry, I went on vacation and we came back, and I'm just trying to get myself together. I had somebody call me. She follows the tree commission and she's a reporter and wanted to do an interview about the tree commission with me. And I just wanted to talk about what information or what is the protocol that you would like to talk about, or do we not do interviews, or what's the protocol for that?
Well, one thing you could recommend is if they could forward to you the questions beforehand, and then perhaps you and Madam President could, go over those if you need input from me, or if there's information that we should solicit from the city beforehand, and then we could respond in that fashion. That's one way of doing it.
Okay.
I'm happy to help. I'm sure Madam President is, and Casey and the whole team here.
Okay.
Mr. Everyone.
She called me probably a couple of weeks ago, and I put a call back into her to talk to her about what dates and what she was looking at, but she never called back. So,
Okay.
Who is it?
let me see if I can find her.
Happy to help.
You know what? I'll find it and I'll email it to you, Sarah. Okay. Email you her name.
Email it to everybody so we know.
Okay.
And Casey, in terms of your office, is there any kind of protocol you would like us to go through? I mean, I don't want us to be kind of out there talking through our hats.
Yeah, I don't, Francie, I might ask you for help. So, like when the staff gets interview requests, our process is like we kind of try to direct those requests to the communications office so that they can kind of facilitate who needs to be involved in the interview. But I'm not as familiar with when it's a request of a commission, if that changes the dynamic at all, or the process. So I can ask, go ahead, Francie. I can ask our communications team for advice and guidance.
Saying as though that all boards and commissions do fall under the city of Akron, I would at least forward any requests or share any requests with our communications office. And if they give you the release, you can actually do the interview, but I will at least inform them so that
Yeah.
they can give you proper instructions as to how to deal with media. So that there
Okay,
are no conflicts, you know, with any messaging within the city.
It's
okay.
fair.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
You know, now that people actually know who we are or are beginning to learn who we are, these things might happen more often. I think we need to be ready and just have a process. So thanks for bringing that up.
I can let Stephanie Marsh know, Patricia. She's our director of communications here at the city. And if you want to forward, you know, the email that you got to her, so it's on her radar, she can help facilitate.
Can you email me her name, please?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
If I could just FYI, I will not be in town on April 29th. I don't think I need to necessarily be there. I will, in all likeliness, though, I'll be zooming in. But
Okay,
I don't know if I'll be there or not on the 29th.
okay. Good to know.
I may be, no, as a matter of fact, I'll be back by then. Yeah, I should be there.
Okay.
Sarah, one more thing. We're going in person?
I think for at least the first time we meet with the whole committee, I think would be a good idea.
Okay.
I don't know, you know, I've been before council before, but there were different people on the council then, so never hurts to put a face to a name.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay, well, I guess it's 2-something, 20, my watch just went up, 2:03, and I will adjourn this meeting of the Tree Commission. Thank you all very much.
All right, have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Mhm.